You ever wonder what's really going on inside a tool like ChatGPT when it just drafts that perfect email or spits out a block of code in seconds? I mean, it seriously feels like magic, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you the incredible educational journey that makes it all possible.
It's a heck of a question, isn't it? We see these tools doing these amazing things, writing poetry, solving tough problems. How do they go from just a bunch of code to, well, this?
You know, the best way to wrap your head around it is to imagine we're teaching a student. But this is no ordinary student. This one has a library card to pretty much all of human knowledge and learns at a speed that's just unbelievable. So this AI student idea, that's going to be our guide today. Okay, so what's on the lesson plan for our AI student? First, we're going to build it the ultimate library. Then, it's got to learn the basics of language before it can pick a major. After that, it's time for some really tough final exams, and then we'll see how it basically becomes a student for life. All right, first things first. Before any student can start learning, they need books, lots of books. But for our AI student, we're not just giving it a couple of textbooks. Oh no. We're giving it the biggest, most ridiculously huge library ever put together. And its reading list is just wild. We're talking everything from classic novels and the entire chunk of Wikipedia to dense research papers and even millions of lines of programming code. The bigger and cleaner this digital library is, the smarter our student can potentially become. But before it can read a single word, it needs to learn its ABCs, or in this case, tokens. Tokenization is the super important first step where the AI breaks down all that complicated text into smaller, bite-sized chunks that it can actually work with and start seeing patterns in. So a simple sentence like "I love AI" gets broken down into 3 separate tokens: I, love, and AI. It's really that simple. These little tokens become the basic building blocks for everything, and I mean everything that comes next. So the library is built, the words are broken down into tokens. Our AI student is finally ready for its general education. This is the big one. This is the stage where it learns the very fabric of language itself. Now we get to the most important part of its training. It's called pre-training, and its job, believe it or not, is actually pretty simple on the surface, but it's incredibly powerful. All it has to do, over and over again, is predict the next word in a sentence. For example, the model gets a sentence like, "The cat sat on the," and then a blank. What would you guess comes next? Mat, chair, lap? Well, the model has to do the exact same thing, using everything it's ever read to make the smartest possible guess. So yeah, it might predict mat, or couch, or floor. And here's where the magic happens. By doing this one simple task, it's not just learning words. It's secretly learning grammar, context, facts about the world, even the fundamentals of how to reason. And the secret sauce here? It's just sheer mind-bending scale. The model doesn't play this little prediction game 1,000 times, or even 1,000,000. It does it trillions of times. And with every single guess, it fine-tunes its own internal wiring and gets just a tiny bit smarter. And what's so cool about this is that the whole process is self-supervised. There's no human teacher sitting there saying, "Good job," or "Wrong answer" every time. Nope. The AI just uses the original text it's reading as the answer key. It makes a guess, checks its own work, and learns from its own mistakes, all by itself. Okay, so at this point, our student has a ton of general knowledge. It's kind of like it's read every book in the library, but has no idea what it wants to be when it grows up. Now it's time to specialize. It's time to learn how to be truly useful. This next stage is called fine-tuning. We take that generally smart model and we train it on very specific, high-quality examples to make it an expert at a certain task. This is how you get an AI that's an amazing conversationalist, or one that's a genius at writing code, or even one with deep medical knowledge. But, being a brilliant expert isn't quite enough. Our student also needs to learn some good manners, and that's where reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF, comes in. This is where actual humans step in to teach the AI to be not just smart, but also helpful, honest, and, most importantly, safe. The feedback loop is pretty straightforward, but it is so powerful. The model gives an answer, a person rates it. Was that good? Was it kind of biased? Was it maybe even harmful? The model then takes that rating and learns from it, so it's less likely to make that same mistake again. And you just repeat this process over and over and over to really polish its behavior. So let's zoom out and look at the whole thing. This entire educational journey is really like a three-step funnel. It starts super wide with pre-training, where the goal is to just learn everything by predicting the next word. Then it narrows with fine-tuning to specialize in one job. And finally, it gets polished with RLHF, which aligns the AI with what we, as humans, actually want, all through direct feedback.
Okay, our student is smart, it's specialized, and it's pretty well behaved. But before it can graduate and be released out into the world, it has to pass a whole series of really, really tough final exams.
And these are not easy multiple-choice tests. The model gets rigorously checked for hidden biases, its ability to filter out nasty content is tested, and its logical reasoning is pushed to the absolute limit. There are even these red teams of people whose entire job is to try and break the AI, to trick it into messing up, just so they can find and patch up any weak spots. At last, the AI graduates and is released to the public. But here's the thing you have to remember. For a large language model, school is never, ever out. The education is never truly finished. I love this quote because it just nails it. These models are always evolving. Even after they're out in the wild, the learning doesn't stop. The developers are constantly working to update them, fix new bugs, add new information, and make them safer based on how we all interact with them. So there you have it. That's the whole journey in a nutshell. It starts with this enormous ocean of data. From that, the AI learns the deep patterns of language just by predicting the next word, trillions of times. And finally, it's carefully shaped and refined by human wisdom to become a safe and useful tool. That right there is how an LLM is made. And that really brings us to a fascinating final thought, doesn't it? We've built this incredible student that never gets tired and never stops learning. So the real question for all of us now is, what should we teach it next? What new skills, what new knowledge should we be aiming for? The possibilities and the responsibilities are kind of endless.